Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Cooking for the Family. I'm Devon and today I'm going to share with you Christmas crack. This is so good, y'all. My neighbor turned me on to this Christmas crack maybe about 3, 4, 5 years ago. Oh my goodness. She gave us some in a tin and we could not get enough. So when I got the recipe and she shared it, I was like, this is wonderful. And so I had to share it with y'all. Now, this is part of my series of 12 days of cookies and holiday treats. Now, I have a full-size cookie sheet. And I have lined my sheet with some foil. I've lined it really good with foil. And then in addition to that, I'm going to spray it with some non-stick spray. Just like that, I just went on and sprayed it with some non-stick spray because this is going to be very, very critical in getting this Christmas crack off this cookie sheet, okay? And so now I have some regular saltine crackers. And these are the saltine crackers that have the salted tops. You do want to use the saltine crackers with the salted tops. It is very important. And all I'm going to do here is just line them up. So I just go down just like that, and I'm lining the crackers on my pan. And now I'm going to end up using about a sleeve and a half of saltine crackers. And when I put my crackers down, you want to make sure that they're nice and even. And when I put my crackers down 6 in a row, that we're also going to make sure that our crackers are salt side up. That's very important. So you want to put your crackers side by side and you want them the salted side up of your cracker. Now also with this recipe, we are going to be using brown sugar. In particular, we're going to use dark brown sugar. Okay, now dark brown sugar versus the light brown sugar, and I've actually used both in the recipe, and I found that the dark brown sugar actually gives a better toffee taste to it. It's just like creamier, more toffee tasting. Just the flavor is just so just deep. It's delicious. And so what we're going to do is once I had let my crackers all lined on my cookie sheet, we're going to go on and put our butter in our pan. Now this right here, this is the step that things can go off the rail, but I'm going to talk you through it and I'm going to show you that it's very easy if you follow these steps. Now I've put my 2 sticks of butter. Now I'm using salted butter, all right? I'm using the 1 cup of, I did packed dark brown sugar. And what you want to do is, because we're going to create that toffee, all right? So we're creating that toffee. So what I'm doing is my fire is on a medium to low. All I want to do right now is I just want to melt the butter and the brown sugar. So I'm melting the butter and the brown sugar together. And I'm gently going to stir it. But there's going to come a point in time where we will stop stirring it and we will not stir it at all in order to get that toffee consistency for our crackers that we need. And so right now I'm just going to stir it until my butter has completely dissolved. And so I'm just gently stirring it. And when it comes to this, it's basically in essence we're making candy. And so when it comes to this, everything is about timing. And so you see I'm just gently, just like that, with my wooden spatula, I'm going around just like that. I'm just being very gentle, going around the circle, just like that. And you can use a pan, or either you can use a pot that has a high side. You can use that as well. But using this cast iron skillet, I found that it works the best. And so I'm just doing it just like that. Now you see how my butter is almost completely melted. There's like a little bit, like about the size of a nickel. It's almost there. It's almost completely melted. And I'm just moving it around. My sugar has dissolved. And so it's been dissolved. So my sugar was dissolving. Now once I get to that point where the butter has melted, my sugar has dissolved, I am going to raise my fire from that medium low to more of a medium high. And I'm not going to stir it. I'm going to let it just bubble and boil. And you see that? You see how it's starting to create those bubbles, right? Just like that. You see how it's boiling? And you do not want to stir it. I know it's tempting to want to get in there and just give it a little stir. Do not do that, because if you do, it is going to go from creating toffee for you to creating caramel. And we're not creating caramel, we're doing toffee. And so you just want to let it boil. And it's going to actually boil for 3 minutes. The whole process takes 3 minutes, y'all. And so set your timer, but you do not want it to go longer than 4 minutes. And so my fire, like I said, is on medium high, and it's boiling, and I'm watching it the whole time, and I'm watching my timer, because this is the part you don't want to walk away from your stove at this point. And you see how it's boiling, and you see how our bubbles and the boil went from a low simmer, and see how it's just like a rolling boil. You see that rolling boil? You just want to let it keep on with the rolling boil, and just let it kind of do its thing, just like that. Just like that. Just let it continue to boil, and we're watching it, and you see how the bubbles are getting bigger and bigger. And eventually what's going to happen, y'all, when it gets to the point where you see now it just started to slowly reduce. It got to the point where our toffee is where it was needed to be. It has been 3 minutes and actually about 20 seconds that I was watching it, and it was perfect. And you see it goes from being a big rolling bubble and boiling to lower, just like that. And you see what that looks like? And so now I've got my sheet of crackers, and also my oven is preheating on 400 degrees. And so I'm going to just go on and take that brown sugar and butter mixture. And this is hot, y'all, so you got to work fast, but be cautious because this is hot. And so I'm putting it all over the crackers as best as I can. And once I have it, all of the butter and the brown sugar out of my cast iron skillet, I'm going to take my offset spatula, just like that. And you see, I am just rubbing it all over. You want to cover all your crackers. You want to make sure that your crackers are covered, and they'll slide around on you for a moment. That's okay, because remember, we sprayed them so that later when we do that crackle part, it'll just come up with no problem. And so I'm just rubbing it. I'm trying to make sure, because it will start to cool on you right away, and it'll start to harden up a little bit right away. So I am working quickly, guys, just like that. So you just want to make sure the crackers don't want to cooperate. They sliding all over the place, but that's okay. I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna go on and put all of that right there, all over, just like that, corner to corner. You know, you want to cover your crackers as best as you can. You want to cover them 100%. If you have a little bit showing, that's okay. But you primarily want to make sure that you get it all over those crackers, just like that. And I'm just moving it around. And as you see, the longer it takes me to do it, the firmer our toffee and that brown sugar starts to set up on our crackers already. It's already starting to set up and cool and get a little like gummy. Okay, and so we just want to move it around. And now that I've done that, I'm going to put the crackers in the tray in my oven, and it's at 400 degrees like I said, and it's going to be in there for 5 to 7 minutes. Keep an eye on it. Now in the meantime, while my crackers are in my 400 degree oven, I'm going to go on and toast up some pecans, because I like to sprinkle little pecans on mine. And so I'm just toasting up some pecans. And when you toast up your pecans, you want to toast them up actually whole versus pre-chopping them up, because this way it's easier to toast them actually, and then you can go on and chop them up after you have them nice and toasted, just like that. And now I'm going to take our toffee and our crackers out, and you see the difference, y'all? You see what happened? You see that it's gotten nice and firm. It's really started to turn into that nice crackle toffee. And now we can go on, and this is still nice and hot. So I'm going to put my chocolate chips on here. And we are using semi-sweet chocolate chips. And we're actually going to use this whole pack of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Now, actually, we're going to be using 2 cups full. So this pack is not quite 2 cups. So I have some extra chocolate chips to the side, some more semi-sweet, and we're going to add them to this tray as well. Now, I've turned my oven off, And I need the chocolate chips to melt. So my oven is off, but I'm just going to slide that tray back in there just for a few seconds, just to kind of help those chocolate chips melt a little bit more. And you see how now they're nice and glossy, they've melted. I'm going to go on and take my offset spatula and I'm going to just blend it. I'm just going to smooth that melted chocolate chips all over the toffee. You see that? Just like that. Back and forth all over. And I want to make sure I'm going corner to corner, edge to edge, because this is going to be that extra thing, that chocolate chip that's going to help you have that nice cohesiveness where everything is nice and together, because you have the crackers and then you have the toffee that's set up and hardened, and then now this chocolate on top. And we're going to let our chocolate set and cool because our tray is still pretty warm. And so once my tray has cooled down, and it usually takes about half an hour, and so I let my tray cool for about a half an hour on the counter. And then I'm going to take it and put it in the refrigerator. And so I put in the refrigerator for about 1 to 2 hours, depending on how firm and how quickly it firms up. But I like to do that so that way it's easy for me to break apart. And so we're just going to go on and do that. Now, before we do that, remember we had toasted our pecans. And I also have some sprinkles that I want to put on there for the holidays. And so I'm going to go on and add my toasted pecans. I have my pecans and I chop them up. Now with this recipe, you don't have to toast the pecans, but I find toasting those pecans really brings out that beautiful nuttiness of the flavor of those pecans. And so I'm going to go on and I'm going to put my sprinkles on. And also, guys, if you don't want to use sprinkles, if you don't want to use pecans, you don't have to at all. If you say, you don't want to put a topping on your toffee, you don't have to. You can just leave it just with that delicious chocolate just like that. But if you want a little extra something, see that? I'm just putting those pecans right on top, just like that. And even if you want to crush them and make them finer, you can do that too, guys. Just like that. Now, once I have my pecans all on there, and then, like I said, I'm going to let this go on and cool for 30 minutes. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator and let it really get nice and firm and set up for about 1 to 2 hours. I'm going to take it out. And so it's been in the refrigerator for a couple hours. And now we're just going to go on and break it apart. And this toffee, like I said, it is so good. It is so delicious. And I want to say a thank you, a special shout out to my neighbor. And you know who you are. Thank you for sharing this with us and my family. That was such a wonderful treat that you gave to us that holiday season. And I am so glad to share it with everyone else. And look at that, nice. That's nice and firm. And let's look at the bottom. Look, you see that? You see that nice toffee? How it created that nice toffee? And then with those crackers in there and that sweet and salty with those salted tops, and then you use the salted butter. Now in the description box below, I'm going to have a list of these ingredients, and it is just those simple ingredients that make this so good. That nice brown sugar, you see that? That nice brown sugar, that buttery bottom. It is just so good, y'all. And so I am going to go on and finish breaking this apart. And I am putting this together because this is my treat that I'm going to share with other people. I'm going to an ugly sweater party tonight, y'all. And I am going to share this because good recipes and great food and delicious desserts are meant to be shared. Well, this is part of my 12 days of cookies and holiday treats. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, go on and hit that subscribe button. And if you like this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up. And remember, it is always good when Devon is cooking for the family. I'll see you on the next one, everybody. Bye-bye.